Hey friends, I just want to share a really fun realization or like a putting together of things that I had in therapy this week. So I was talking through like the cross section of understanding my experience and validating my own experience while acknowledging that other people's experience of the same event can be different. So there is an ongoing theme that happens for a lot of us, especially autistic people, neurodivergent, neurocomplex people, where we're like told you don't make sense. That didn't happen. Like you're remembering it wrong. But we really feel like, no, I remember or I experienced it this way. And when I was early on at getting services at a domestic violence shelter, they taught me to say, I know what I know. But there's always been this lingering piece of it for me where I'm like, but other people are saying I don't know what I know. So how do I reconcile those? And how do I acknowledge that I know what I know, but they also know what they know? And those things sometimes contradict. And that's a nice dialectic, right? We have two things that seem to be in opposition, but can both be true. And we know from the nervous system perspective that your nervous system is interpreting events based on its level of perceived safety, not actual safety, perceived safety. And everybody else's nervous system is doing that too. So we legitimately can experience events very differently. And how do we hold that? So in dialectics, we do a lot of Venn diagrams. And I came up with this Venn diagram. I don't know if you can see this. One side it says validation. So I have experienced this. I know what I know that I know what I think I experienced, right? Validating that. And then the other side says radical acceptance. And this might show up backward for you, so I apologize for that. And then the arrow of the crossover says this makes sense. And so that is the mantra that feels really honest to me versus I know what I know, because there's still a part of me that goes, but maybe not. So this makes sense gives to me that crossover of I'm validating. This makes sense that I have experienced it this way. And I can radically accept that it makes sense that the other person has experienced it that way. And what that gives to me, that this makes sense, is it offers me something beyond having to defend and prove or doubt. So when I'm like, I'm right, when I'm just validating me, I'm like, you're wrong. So I need to convince you and I need to defend and prove, which can lead to a lot of suffering, right? Especially if we have someone with any kind of narcissistic characteristics. Um, the other option that many of us go to is now I'm going to doubt myself. I'm wrong, which can also lead to a lot of suffering because your nervous system is a lie detector, right? And so it's going to be like, no, that happened and don't lie to us, right? So, what this makes sense gives us the opportunity is to go past proving and defending and self doubt to some compassion. Oh, wow. I experienced something differently from them. Now our experiences are colliding and contradicting one another. How can I take really good care of, first of all, the grief that I may feel around that contradiction? I was wanting connection and I'm not going to be able to have it because we have two different nervous system experiences of the same event. Now I get the opportunity to take really good care of my grief. I'm so sorry that this is the reality, that they are experiencing things differently than you. And it looks like contradiction. And I can move to compassion for them. Wow, they're really struggling because they feel like this experience has gone this certain way. And I can take responsibility and care for the compassion and grief for myself. And I can offer the compassion to the other person as they experience grief. So I can offer things like, wow, it sounds like you're in a lot of pain. Wow, it sounds like, you're really suffering. And if it's with someone who has, narcissistic characteristics, I'm probably going to do that without being physically present with them. I'm going to energetically send them some compassion and love. If I'm with someone who is able to show up for connection and some repair, then I can say, tell me what you're feeling afraid of right now. Tell me what's feeling scary or upsetting. And then we can, without me having to defend or prove my experience, then we can share, neutrally. Wow, it sounds like we really had different experiences of this. And how can we take care of both of us, knowing that our nervous systems had two different experiences? Um, so, anyways, I loved that. Wanted to share it. Bringing radical acceptance in with validation and offering that consistent um, mantra to myself. This makes sense. The confusion of the disconnect is often what causes a lot of suffering. And when we're like, oh, it makes perfect sense that we're having different experiences, then we can move forward to actually compassion, grief if necessary. And come back up to our frontal lobe to do some problem solving. Okay, lots of love.